All right, welcome back to another one of our film reviews. Today we are talking Las Vegas Raiders rookie defensive tackle Tonka Hemingway. Hemingway highlighted exactly why he's such a disruptive force, particularly as a pass rusher for this Raiders defense. Got some things to improve on in the run defense game, but he had some bright spots there as well. And we'll break down everything he did in his final preseason game of his rookie season. As always, in the comment section below, give us any feedback you might have. If you're a fan of these film reviews and want more of them, consider becoming a member. There's a link in the description box below. But without further ado, let's jump right into the film. All right, let's open up with a pass rush, and there's Hemingway right there, lined up in a 3 technique, kind of a wide 3 technique here. You can see the Raiders, they got 2 linebackers walked up in the A-gap, double A-gap pop look right here. So what you're going to end up seeing is 55 is going to pick the center, and 54 is going to loop around or try to loop around. And that means you're going to get one-on-one. Let me clean up the screen for you guys right there. We're going to get one-on-one. Hemingway right here on this left guard. He beats him with just brute force, drives him into the quarterback's lap, helps force an incompletion. Let's check it out. All right, here's the snap. Let's look at Hemingway. Walk 71, back in quarterback's lap, incomplete pass. This is too good, guys. Watch this. Helmet, hands, and chest. Walk back right of the quarterback. Nothing you can do there. You see this double A gap pop. It's not perfectly executed. The quarterback still probably feels that a little bit. But you know who he really feels? Hemingway right there, coming right through 71. This is how you win, right? All day long, folks. Power, unadulterated power right through the left guard. Look, sometimes these defensive linemen, and Hemingway can fall under this trap every once in a while, is I want to use a swim move, I want to use a spin move, get a little too cute. But every once in a while, just put your helmet in another man's chest and embarrass him, walk him back into the quarterback. This is exactly what we want to see from defensive tackles. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Hemingway right there at the top of your screen. Watch him launch into this left guard and just bury him back. I mean, right there. That's awesome. Back in the lap of the quarterback. Again, he sets him up like he's going to do like a little swim move or something, and then puts his hands in his chest and then just walks him back. I love this strategy. Like, this is a speed to power variant. Defensive ends, I like speed to power. Threat with speed and then work power inside. This is that kind of variant for a defensive tackle. Threat with maybe a swim move or a spin move and then bolt through his chest just like that. Nice play from Hemingway. All right, sticking with the pass rush, and there's Tonka Hemingway right there. He's lined up on what we're going to call a 2-eye technique on the inside eye of the guard right there. If he was on the outside shoulder of the center, we would call that a 1 technique alignment. If he was on the outside shoulder of the guard, we would call that a 3 technique alignment. Just a quick refresher for anyone who needs it. But we're going to get a play action concept here from the Arizona Cardinals. So we're going to fake it to the running back this way. This guard's going to pull as if he's going to be a lead blocker, as if it was a run. Everyone else is going to block back, block down here for the Arizona Cardinals. And this is a situation where, as a defensive lineman, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make you feel run. So if you're Tonka Hemingway, you see this guy pull here and you feel this block back, you're going to sit here and hammer down and say, okay, it's a run. I can't give up movement. I got to look for the running back. And then you have to transition right away to a pass rush. The offense bets that you won't be able to do that effectively. Hemingway does. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You see the pulling guard, play action. Hemingway gets through, pressure on the quarterback, another incomplete pass. Let's look at how he beats this block. So you see the center block down right there. Again, he's trying to sell run. Hemingway feels a run, sees the guard pull, so he gets into like a run defense stance. And right here, he recognizes his pass, rips through, gets pressure on the quarterback, gets held a little bit there as well. This isn't really well blocked, I'm going to be totally honest, by the Arizona Cardinals. Again, this is preseason. You know, we're dealing with a young offensive line group, so I don't want to get too over the top when it comes to praise here for Hemingway. But again, he recognizes right there, he's in run defense mode, right? He's trying to go feet parallel, shoulder parallel to line of scrimmage, defend against the run, sees the pass, now works through north and south, good clean hit on the quarterback. Hemingway's one of these guys that just makes plays, right? He's just a disruptive force. Whether it's a straight up pass rush, whether it's a play action pass, he finds a way to cause damage to the offense. All right, for the wide copy, you're going to see Hemingway right there. He's going to feel the center block back. So right there, he's thinking run, right? He's got a base, feet, shoulders, hips, parallel to line of scrimmage. I don't like what they're doing at the top of the screen right there. Tyree Wilson, for example, he's flying upfield. Now, he may see pass, maybe he sees something I don't. You see these defensive ends, they're flying upfield too. This could have been a run. If this is just an actual design run here and they gave it to the running back, look at this, right? This is a huge hole. This is a huge crease. You got to be a little bit more disciplined than that. Hemingway is disciplined. He reads run initially, then fights through to get pressure on the quarterback. All right, how about some run defense? And there's Hemingway right there. He's lined up in a 4-eye technique on the inside eye of that tackle right there. And we're going to get an inside zone concept working to the left side of your screen, the offensive right. Everyone's going to be taking their zone tracks on the Arizona Cardinals offensive line. And we're going to get a cutoff block, a scoop block, a wide scoop here by this tackle on Hemingway right here. Now, Hemingway's job is to maintain his gap. So he's a 4-eye technique. So he's on the inside eye of the tackle right here. His job is to stay at that position the entire time. The tackle does a decent job cutting off Hemingway, but Hemingway keeps working, ends up throwing the lineman into the running back to make the tackle. I love the effort. I love the attention to just trying to do your job no matter what, even if it's not perfect. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. You can see zone tracks across the board. Running back tries to cut back, and Hemingway helps collapse the pile. Nice work. Let's go back to the very beginning here. You can see this tackle tries to do a scoop block to cut off. This tackle working his butt off. He's trying really hard. He's doing a halfway decent job. But Hemingway keeps working as well, and throws the tackle into the running back, ends up making the play. This is what you need on the backside when it comes to these 4-eye techniques. And these 4-eyes, for anyone who isn't familiar, this is the old 3-4 defensive end kind of position. And this is exactly how you need to play it. You need to use the mass of the offensive lineman in your own mass for your advantage, right? Throw them into the running back, plug up all the holes. And that's exactly what he does here, right? Because you can see the desired cutback for the running back. He's trying to run right through here. But Hemingway, through his size and the offensive lineman sides, close the hole down. Nice rep. All right, from the wide copy, you're going to see Hemingway at the bottom of your screen. Just work through it, and push the offensive lineman into the pile. This is really good stuff, guys. Again, is it perfect from Hemingway? No, you'd like to not be cut off at all. And right here, he's almost cut off. But even when it's not perfect, you still run your feet. You still make the play. All right, let's go back to a pass rush, and there's Hemingway right there. He's lined up in a 4-eye technique on the inside eye of the tackle right there. So what the Raiders are going to do here defensively is they're going to slant their defense to the defensive right, the offensive left, the left side of your screen. So this defensive tackle is going to go this way. This defensive tackle is going to go this way. And Hemingway is going to work inside from his 4-eye alignment inside the guard just like this. So what you're trying to do here, if you're Hemingway, is you're trying to make sure either through your pass rush or through this offensive lineman that they get in the quarterback's lap here to disrupt the timing of the throw. Once again, it's a quick throw from number 15, but Hemingway does his job. Again, he gets north and south. We talk about a disruptive force. That's what he is. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. We can see the slant right in the quarterback's face. Quick throw, ball's out, defense makes a tackle. This is what you want to do right here. You want to disrupt everything from the offense. And when you start doing things like this from a pass rushing perspective as a defensive lineman, the offensive coordinator, the play caller, head coach, whoever's going to be the quarterback, they're going to start doing this all game long. Quick throws, minimal gains. And that's how you stop people defensively, right? You get the offense to feel your presence. It's not necessarily about making the sacks and tackles for loss, right? Guys like Max Crosby, of course, are phenomenal at that. But their biggest impact is that teams have to game plan for them. And when you have a pass rusher, a disruptive force like Hemingway, and you have to deal with Kuntz, and you have to deal with Crosby, teams are going to have to get rid of the ball so quickly when they play the Raiders. What does that mean? It means DBs, if they can tackle, the Raiders will get a lot of stops. Football can be very simple when you have disruptive forces inside. In prior years, especially last year, good at the outside, bad at the inside. Hemingway should fix that this year for the Raiders. All right, from the wide copy, you're going to see Hemingway right there at the bottom of your screen. Watch him slant inside in that gap, get north and south immediately, right in the quarterback's lap. You see quarterback uncomfortable, can't finish the throw. This is what you want right here, right? Can't step into it. See how he's kind of dodging all that traffic? Again, it's a quick throw, so no one would have gotten the sack anyway, but he's right around the quarterback, making him feel your presence, making the offensive coordinator up in the press box be like, gosh, we got to get rid of the ball quickly every time. And when you do that, minimal gains offensively. And this is how you play good defense, right? Guys on the outside, Crosby, they're phenomenal. But if you add in guys like Tonka Hemingway, which was the promise of Wilkins, unfortunately that didn't work out, suddenly offenses, they're not going to have a solution except throw the ball quick. Then you guys rally the ball and tackle and start winning a lot of games in Las Vegas. All right, let's go with the run defense, and there's Hemingway right there. He's lined up in a 2-eye technique now on the inside eye of that guard right there. And what we're going to get is a standard inside zone concept here for the Arizona Cardinals. We're going to get some motion pre-snap just to try and pull the linebackers and safety that direction. And then we're going to get really basic zone stuff, right? So the right tackle is going to work here. We're going to get a zone double team attempt right here, working up to the next level. Zone double team attempt here, working up to the next level. And backside cutoff. Running back just trying to take this path and either cut back up the hash, keep it wide, wherever he can find a hole, right? That's the goal. Very day one kind of zone blocking stuff. Hemingway does a really great job. At the snap, I think by design, he slants a little bit to head up, potentially to work over this gap on this offensive guard, and he beats him clean, reads and reacts, and makes a tackle. Nice play from the rookie. Let's check it out. All right, there comes motion. All right, there's a snap. We can see Hemingway take a step to his left. Let's play the start to finish. Hand off inside. Running back doesn't know where to go. Hemingway's there to help make the tackle. Good stuff. Right, look at Hemingway right here, one-on-one. Good extension right there. Gets a little too helmet to helmet for my taste. Again, he's run defense. He's not quite as good as he is in pass rush, but he plays off the block and makes a tackle. Doing your job, right? And again, this was not the best day for Hemingway, especially in the run defense game. But one of the things I like about 97, guys, is even when it's not his best day, he still finds a way to get the job done. And that's what guys have to do. Look, the NFL, 17 long games. You're going to play a lot of good teams. You're going to have not your best day, probably 5-6 games a season at least. What do you do in those situations, right? Do you find a way to battle through it and do good jobs in situations like this? You have to, right? If you're going to be an NFL player, if you're going to be a winning team, that's what you have to do. And Hemingway brings that for the Raiders. All right, from the wide copy, you're going to see this handoff inside. Hemingway gets into the tackle. I love that drive, that pop he gets. Watch this tackle's helmet, this guard's helmet bounce. Boom, look at that shock. That's what you like to see. That's force, that's power. Then he's able to fight through the trash and make the tackle. Really good run defense here. I mean, there's so much to really like from Hemingway. His disruptiveness, his power, setting a new line of scrimmage, knocking the offensive lineman back. Love to see that. Helps eliminate any sort of hole for the running back. Remember, this was 3rd and about short, and the Raiders end up getting a stop here, force a 4th down attempt. This is really good defense right here. Point of attack, Tonka Hemingway.
All right, let's take a break from today's video to shout out our sponsor today, guys, and that is DraftKings Sportsbook. It's the best time of the year. Football season is almost finally back. Everyone's undefeated. Love the optimism in the air. And if you're into the thrill of live betting, DraftKings, they've got you covered. Bet live on in-progress games as they happen. And here's the thing, if sports betting, if it's not available in your state yet, don't worry, you can still join DraftKings Daily Fantasy Sports. And here's the best part. If you sign up and bet $5, you'll get $300 in bonus bets instantly for new customers. New customers now, bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets instantly. What a deal. Sign up with our promo code SMI. 3 easy letter, guys. You can't forget it. It's just 3 letters. Our promo code SMI. Sign up DraftKings Sportsbook today.
All right, this next play is an example of something Tonka Hemingway needs to work on, and there he is right there, line up in a 2-eye technique. This is going to be a standard pass rush situation. The Arizona Cardinals, they're going to slide their protection play side of the gap to the right. So the center is going to take this gap, right guard's going to take this gap, and right tackle is going to take this gap. It eventually ends up being essentially a 2-on-1 on Hemingway right here, and we get 1-on-1 right here on the backside, left guard and left tackle on the defensive tackle and defensive end for the Raiders, respectively. This is a situation here where Hemingway, he gets double teamed so he can't get through. That's fine. It happens all the time. But he's right here to make the play as the quarterback steps up, but he just can't quite make the tackle. Hemingway's such a disruptive force, but the playmaking isn't quite there yet. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. We can see the protection slide. We get 2-on-1 right there. Let's play this all the way through. Look at Hemingway, right? Double teamed, can't get through. Hey, that's fine. That happens. Right there, make the tackle and can't. Quarterback's able to escape for a productive play for the offense. This is the next step for Tonka Hemingway. It's turning disruptive plays and opportunities into tackles and sacks, right? His defensive end right here, number 99, forces the quarterback right to him, and he just can't quite get there. This is my biggest concern with Tonka Hemingway. And look, he's a disruptive force, and he does a lot of really good things, right? But this is an example of something where Hemingway he got to make the play, brother. You're right there. And again, he does make the play in a number of instances. I'm not saying he never does, but when the opportunities are there, I want to see Hemingway do a better job of making the tackle, getting the sacks. He's a disruptive force to the extreme and a great value, but the next step in his game is turning those disruptive plays into turnovers and sacks. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Hemingway right there at the bottom of your screen. Again, he's going to get double teamed, right? It's going to happen. It's football. It's life. You're right in the double team. You're kind of stuck. Even gets a little bit of a pocket push too, so not terrible, right? Where was the ball snapped? The 18-yard line. Walks the center guard double team back to the 13th. That's actually pretty good, right? Get forced up. You're right there to get a sack, be the hero, and you just can't quite get him down. Again, next part of Tonka Hemingway's game, is to get him down, is to make the play, is to get the sack. He is so close, guys. If he can turn plays like this into sacks, tackles for losses, takeaways, all that kind of stuff, the Raiders won't just have a quality player. They'll have an elite player at defensive tackle. All right, let's get another pass rush win for Hemingway, and there he is right there, lined up at a 3 technique. This is a situation where he's going to fake like he's going to do a bull rush and then beats him with a swim move over the top, forces pressure on the quarterback. Quarterback steps up. This time it's Hemingway's teammate who can't make the play. Hey, guys, playmaking's hard, right? It's one of those things, tough thing to do. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. Hemingway 1-on-1, beats him over the top, pressures the quarterback, can't get him down. Quarterback's able to scramble for productive play. Now look, 15 here, he was pretty nifty in the pocket in this preseason game, so credit where credit is due. But right here, as a 3 technique, as a defensive tackle in this situation, being a disruptive, right, forcing the quarterback to tuck it and run it, that's good football. Because I guarantee you, if the quarterback tucks it and runs it all game long, you're going to win, right? As frustrating as it is on this play and on the prior play, where the running back did a good job turning it into productive plays, you know what isn't happening? Downfield throws, no touchdowns, no big completions, right? Your secondary gets a break, right? There's receivers that are open down the field, but guess what? Quarterback doesn't have time to hit them. So instead of a 20-yard play, maybe a touchdown, it ends up being a 7-8-yard play. Or maybe if your defensive tackle makes the play here, your buddy here makes the play, it's a 1-yard play. Or maybe if your linebackers make the tackle, it's a 4-yard play, right? The point is that getting disruption on the quarterback, even when the quarterback's able to turn it into something positive, is still a net benefit for the defense. Because if you hadn't gotten pressure, quarterback could have stepped up and delivered a strike down the field. All right, from the wide copy, you can see Hemingway beat the guard, pressure on the quarterback, has to tuck in and run it. And look, he turns it into a productive play. Credit to number 15, right? Good job on his part. But this is a situation right here. If the quarterback doesn't have pressure and he's able to sit in the pocket, let's say this turns into end up being a corner route right here, but let's just say for argument that this is a seam route. Quarterback is able to throw it right here for a touchdown, right? you can see where this opens up. Maybe it's the running back in the flat right there, and it's one-on-one on this linebacker or corner. I'm sorry, the corner right there, I believe, for a touchdown right there, right? There's an opportunity for the offense to generate bigger plays, not necessarily on this play, but certainly in the future. When you disrupt the quarterback, force him to tuck and run it like you see right here, he has to limit the gain, right? And again, quarterback does a really nice job, but it's a 7 or 8 yard run, and it could have been a 1 or 2 yard run if the guy makes a tackle right there. In future situations, when you get into real football, this is a touchdown, right? This is a single high safety with a cover 3 kind of look. This tight end bends toward the seam here. That's a touchdown. Your defense just gave up 6 points. Hemingway, with a play like this, even if the quarterback escapes, saved you 6 points, and that's good football. All right, let's end on a pretty smart, savvy play from Tonka Hemingway, and there he is right there, line up in a 3 technique on the outside shoulder of the guard, and this is going to be an all-out blitz, right? The Raiders are bringing bodies from everywhere, and Hemingway in this situation, he goes inside and he goes unblocked, and when you're in this situation as a defensive tackle and you go unblocked at a pass rush situation, 2 things have to happen. 1, you have to get pressure, but number 2, you have to be smart. Hemingway does that. Let's check it out. All right, there's a snap. The Raiders bring everybody. Hemingway comes free, hands on the quarterback. Anything dumb, just a little tap. That's what you need, right? Get the pressure, get the quarterback hit. Don't hit him high. Don't throw your body weight into him. Don't do anything dumb. It sounds simple and it sounds kind of strange to highlight that in the film review, but I'm telling you guys, I can't tell you how often, and you guys have probably seen it too, a defensive tackle gets dumb because he goes unblocked, hits the quarterback hard, and you get a 15-yard penalty. You can see this from the wide copy here. Again, unblocked, running through right here, just a little tap. That's all you need, right? Even that's a little too close. Quarterback kind of fakes it there with a little bit of a flop, but overall, smart play. Don't jump up. Right? Don't try and hit him high in the head, right? Even you can see 33, Jamal Adams, he's a veteran, raises his hands quickly back down, doesn't want to hit the quarterback's head. Stay off the knees, stay off the head, nowhere close, no late hit, no body weight. Again, it's the little things, right? It's smart plays. And we've seen Hemingway, he's a disruptor. He's a disruptive force and can do things against the run. I want to see him make more plays, more tackles for loss, more sacks. That's the next part in his game. But it's really nice to see that he's an intelligent player. Again, it's the basic things, it's the little things, but when it comes right down to it, Raiders fans, you know it as well as anybody. It's a difference between winning and losing.